name's Judy Elizabeth Downing, nee Gadd. I was born the 15th of December 1965. I was born at my home address at 39 Lewisham Roads, B66 2BS. We have 5 siblings. My mum and dad had 5 siblings. There's Josephine, there's John, there's Janet, there's me, Judy, and my little brother Rob. I grew up in Smethwick and I lived in Smethwick up until the age of 19. So Smethwick is part of the Black Country. It's a very friendly place to grow up. Everybody was friendly, is multicultural. I had lots of different cultured friends and we all got on very well. The year that I was born, Malcolm X actually visited Marshall Street in Smethwick 9 days before he was shot in New York. I don't remember that, obviously, because my mum was expecting me at the time. He visited Smethwick because of the immigration, and there was a bit upheaval at the time, I believe, and that's why he actually visited Smethwick. So, in Marshall Street, there is actually a plaque in memorial for Malcolm X's visit to Smethwick. In the 70s, I'd already been to nursery, Edith Sands, and then I moved up to Albion Junior School. After Albion Junior School, I went up to Thomas Telford High School in West Bromwich, which was like 2 minutes away. From our school, we used to be able to watch the Baggies train on the backfield. Cyril Regis, Laurie Conningham, you know, all the big names. Big Ron was the manager at the time. So when we were in our field and in our play area, we always used to just watch the Baggies train at the back of our field because we could see them from the Hawthorns, because that's where they used to train, the back of the Hawthorns club. Back in the 70s, we used to go down to Shireland Disco. It's when the Rude Boys were in. You got all the two-tone music, the Selector. We've got the Specials. All that music was in at the time, and then we went into an era where a lot of people went into to be rockers. I chose to be like there was Rude Boys, there was Skinheads. I chose to be a little bit of a rude girl at the start, and then I went into like Skinheads. I was into all the moon stomping and all that, all that type of music. And then I used to wear like I had some Levi's. I took them in so tight you could actually see the muscles in my legs. They were that tight. I had my monkey boots on. I had my Addington coat on, and I thought I was high to fashion. And that was the fashion when we, in the 70s, in the late 70s, punk rock was about, and I liked the type of music, like from the Sex Pistols and the Clash and all that. So. And the Stranglers and all that type of music was about in the 70s, and I liked the Sex Pistols, and I loved Sid Vicious, even though I was like a kid. In it was like anarchy and stuff. So in 1982, I left school from Thomas Telford High School. My first job on a youth opportunity scheme was in Tesco, and I went there with my friend Leslie Gould, and we worked there for 6 months. We earned £25 a week. When we earned £25 a week, I had to pay my mum £8 a week board, but I saved every penny that I could save at that age. Then when I finished that youth opportunity scheme, I went on a further youth opportunity scheme, and I worked at Gwen's Fashions, and I worked there for about 18 months. Then when I was 15, I met somebody called Simon Billiard. He was like one of the most attractive boys in the school. All the girls wanted him, and it was at a time where I come from a punk rock era, and I started to get into New Romantics, and then New Romantics fashion come and gone, and I started to wear makeup. And when I started to wear makeup, just a bit of mascara and a bit of eyeshadow, people started to notice me a little bit more. And there was this boy at school. He was like the top boy. Everybody thought he was gorgeous, but I didn't. Anyway, he asked me out. I said, okay, I'll go out with you. And I went out with him for about 3.5, 4 years. Then I fell out with him and we didn't get on anymore, and obviously it caused tensions, and we ended up finishing in 1985. In August 1985, I decided to come over and live with my sister, who'd been in Telford since 1975. I stopped with her for about 6 months, and I used to go to I moved over in Telford on the Friday. I had an interview of a job on the Monday, and I was in work on the Tuesday. And I worked for a company in electronics, and the main contract was IBM, and I learned all the values of components and all the different components and how they worked, and soldering and all that type of thing. And so then I went to work for IBM, and I worked for Tatung for about 15 years. During that time, I met my now husband, Vance Downing, and we went out for a date, and we hit it off straight away. So our first date was the 6th of September, and I was 19, coming 20, and obviously he was 18, coming 19. So we went on our first date on the 6th of September, and obviously he was in the Territorial Army at the time, and he was there. We went to his local army depot on our first date, and he says to me, he says, would you like a drink? And I says, yes please. And on the second drink he says, do you want a drink? And I says, no, I'll buy you a drink. He says, no. He says, that's not how it works. He says, I buy the drinks. And I says, no. I says, if we're going out, you buy a drink, I'll buy a drink. It's 50-50. And he was a little bit nervous, to be honest with you, because we were kids really. He wanted to get married straight away, and I was like, no, I'm not ready, because I'm on the rebound, from my previous relationship. And I thought, well, I feel a bit rushed. But you know what? There was something about his character and something about my character. Although he was a strong character, he was very shy. It took a long time for us to get engaged, because I wanted to be sure that I'd have met the right person, really. So we got engaged, moved into a flat together in Bolton Grange. 5 Bolton Grange. So we stayed in our flat, and then we was in the bath, and he says to me, he says, I think we'll get married this year. And I said, when you meet the right girl, introduce us, just because I was like cheeky. Anyway, in 1989, we decided that we was going to get married. We was both 23, and we got married on the 15th of July 1989. During the 80s, before I left school, I think it would have been about 14 and a half, 15, that was when the Falklands conflict was going on under Margaret Thatcher. My cousin Ken, who's my father's sister's son, he was in the medical corps. I think he went out on the Uganda, come back on the Sir Galahad, and one of his ships got attacked and burnt, and one of the Welsh Guards that were on that was Simon Weston, who suffered horrendous burns. And my cousin Ken, being in the medical corps, treated him. But not only did he treat Simon Weston, but he also saw his best mate, who was blown up, and all that was left of him was like his torso and his arms. And my cousin Ken held him, and because they were comrades in arms, and he watched one of his best comrades die, and tried to tell him he's going to be all right. It's quite a tremendous thing, really, and everybody talks about the Falklands conflict and that, but they don't realise that a lot of people died. In the 90s, me and Vance have been married since 23, so we'd be 25, and we decided that we was going to have our first baby. So we carried this baby for what I thought was going to be 40 weeks, which is the usual, and he was supposed to be born on the 23rd of September. But, unbeknownst, I went into labour 3 weeks early, and the date I hadn't even got my slippers ready. And the date that he was born is the 6th of September 1991. And that amazed me really, because that was the anniversary of our first date. So he was a very strong baby to carry. So when we had Lewis, we was in our flat on 5 Bolton Grange. And we was on the 3rd floor. And it was quite a task. When you have a baby, you realise that you have to not only think about yourself getting ready, but you've got to make sure that your bottles are ready, your nappies are ready, your creams are ready. And it's like going camping every day when you have your first baby. And then, so I'd have his bag over. I'd always keep his pram in my car. So I'd have his bag, carry him down 3 flights of stairs, put him in his car seat, before I could even go shopping. Decided we're going to go for a mutual exchange. We're going to change our flat and we're going to go to a 3-bedroom house. So somebody who had a 3-bedroom house in Malmesbury wanted to change for a flat in Manly. And our flat was immaculate. And we moved into this mutual exchange that decorated the doors and oh my God. Before my furniture come in, I was stripping the walls. I was stripping the wallpaper off. I was taking the carpets up. I wanted it immaculate for my baby because he was about 18 months old then and he was like already talking. I find that quite hard to believe myself now. And we made that our home. And then we realised that why should we pay rent? Because it's like spent money. So then we decided then we was going to look for somewhere to buy. So we decided then we was going to buy a house and we was going to make it our home, which happened to be next door to my sister Josephine. So, because we was first time buyers and we was going to pay cash, he accepted £30,000 for it. We got a little boy who spent his 3rd birthday party here with all his friends when he was into bike and mice and stuff. So, in the 90s, Princess Diana died, and she died I think on the 29th of August, as Lewis was 6 on the 6th of September. And obviously the 6th of September was Princess Diana's funeral. Lewis was like a little dismayed that it was his 6th birthday and we was watching Princess Diana's funeral. But it was something that we couldn't miss really, even though we couldn't miss Lewis's 6th birthday. In the 2000s, I think Lewis was 8, and I was working for a company, obviously Tatung. Vance never really wanted any more children because he was frightened in case he had a little girl. Because he says, I couldn't have a little girl because I'd be so protective, I couldn't cope if I had a little girl. And we watched this little play. As we watched this play, these little tiny little fairy girls come past and And Vance went, oh, look. And I said, oh, look. I said, we could have a little girl like that if we had another baby. And he decided then, oh, maybe we'll have another baby. So we decided to have another baby at the back end of 1999. So I felt pregnant straight away. And then when I was expecting again, I was carrying a little bit different. When I was expecting Lewis, honestly, my belly was in Telford and my ass was in Wolverhampton. But when I was carrying my little girl, which I didn't know I was having, I was so tiny that nobody even knew that I was pregnant at the time. I remember going down to Blockbuster, ordering some movies, and I got all these movies and like a ton of chocolates, and I put them on the checkout, and the chunky guy behind the counter went, ouch! I had real sweet tastes. Anyway, as I carried this new baby, I said to my son, who was 8 at the time, I says, Louis, I says, Mummy and Daddy are having a new baby. And I says, this baby's not going to have everything that you've had, He says, well, Mum, he says, because I'll share. And I says, he was so thrilled that we was having a new addition to our family. I'm only 36 weeks and I think I'm in labour, Bab. I think I'm in labour. So there I am, 4 weeks earlier, in labour. And I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to do? We've got this name, Yasmin Christina Josephine Downing, but what if it's a boy? Sure enough, Lewis come 3 weeks early. Yasmin had to come 4 weeks early. And that was it. 10 o'clock at night, off to Shrewsbury Hospital, 6:15 next day, you was out. And there was this tiny little thing, tiny little baby. I think Lewis was 5'11", she was 5'12". I could hold her head in one hand and a bum in the other, just so short, so tiny. So she had to go into like a little warming tank, and I had to have like a little fluffy bonnet on and wrapped up and stuff like that. She was. But as soon that day, when I had Jasmine, Lewis wanted to come to the hospital straight away. I wanted to come straight away. And there he was. And we had to get her out of a little incubator like that. And I've got a photograph of him holding her. And the absolute joy on his face. So when Yasmin was about 2 years old and Lewis was like about 10, and they were all up in bed and stuff like that, and they'd had the Christmas, Santa had come to see them, always get everybody round for a party. They'd sleep through any party. Fast asleep there was. Kept checking on them, fast asleep. Don't care how loud the music was, how much dancing we did, how much drinking we did. It doesn't matter. My babies were like fast asleep. Fast asleep in the tent after the Christmas dinner.